Hey everyone, it's Alexander Robinson. Welcome to the channel, and this is my review for Moana 2, which is the surprise sequel to 2016's Moana. Even though the original film came out 8 years ago, the sequel takes place only 3 years later and follows Moana as she's off on a journey to try and find more people that are connected to the ocean. One night, she gets a vision from one of her ancestors on where exactly to find more of her people. So she gathers up a crew together, she runs into the demigod Maui once again, and they go off on a journey to try to find more people than just her own tribe. Before I continue, if you like this review and you want to see more videos like this in the future, make sure to go ahead and subscribe to this YouTube channel and also hit the bell button to get notifications when a new video comes out. Anyway, let's continue with the review. When this movie was first announced back in February of this year, it came as a complete shock because normally Disney animated movies, or any animated film in general, takes years to make. So the fact that this was announced in February of 2024 and only to come out this November was quite a surprise. I wanted to try and be more excited for this sequel because I loved the original Moana. Out of all the Disney movies in the revival era, this one is actually my favorite, even above stuff like Tangled, Wreck-It Ralph, Frozen, or even Zootopia. Moana is still king, or should I say queen, of the revival era films. But the reason I really wasn't all that excited was because the announcement came way too soon, and I was afraid that it was going to be a rush job of a sequel. And after seeing Moana 2, my fears were definitely realized. Now, it's not an awful movie per se. Like, it's not incompetent, it's not offensive or anything, it doesn't disrespect the original film, but it's just not all that good either. It feels very lackluster, it's going through the same motions of the original Moana, which is a damn shame because the actual story of Moana trying to find more people that live on the islands and are connected to the ocean, that's a better story than the original film was. It's a more powerful story, but the way this movie is edited and the way the story is told does not do it justice at all. This movie honestly feels like it should have been a Disney Plus limited series. Well, guess what? That's what the original plan was. This story was originally supposed to be a limited series on Disney Plus, but they just kind of reworked it into a movie, and anytime I hear that, that usually doesn't work out at the end of the day. Another thing that doesn't work about the movie are the songs. Lin-Manuel Miranda is not back to do the music for this one, and you can clearly tell when you listen to the music because the second I walked out of the theater, I forgot every single song that was in this movie. There was nothing running through my head. There was nothing as beautifully done as How Far I'll Go. There's nothing as catchy as You're Welcome or Shiny. All the songs here are just forgettable. It reminds me very much of when the Land Before Time sequels did a bunch of songs just because it felt like an obligation, but they don't really leave an impression on you. Those are the songs in Moana 2. The voice acting is pretty good. Moana is once again played by Auliʻi Cravalho, and she's just as good as she was in the first movie, singing and everything. And I like Dwayne Johnson as Maui again. And I know that sounds a bit weird because I just reviewed Red 1 not too long ago and made a big stink about how I'm sick of The Rock. And while Maui is very much Dwayne Johnson, he's just providing the voice. He's not really in control of the story. He doesn't have his hands in it beyond voice acting the way he did in Red 1. There were a few points where the humor actually worked on me. Nothing that was a belly laugh, but I did get a few chuckles here and there. Mainly it was because of Maui's tattoo and a couple of meta lines thrown into the film. Because I'll tell you right now, Hey Hey did not get a laugh out of me at all. In the first movie, it was genuinely funny how stupid this rooster was, but this time around the joke was getting really old really quickly, and you just have to wonder how in the love of God, how in the love of Maui, is this thing still alive because it's so stupid? The rest of Moana's crew are one note and honestly pretty boring. You have one character who's an eccentric boat designer, you have an older man who just doesn't want to deal with anybody, and you have a giant Maui superfan who may have a crush on Moana. It's not really made explicit, but I got that impression every now and then. Overall, there's nothing really outstanding about Moana 2. It has a very sloppy rush job feeling to it, and considering that this was supposed to be a limited series on Disney Plus, it makes a whole lot of sense because ideas are introduced and quickly abandoned. There's some choppy animation here and there. There's a character that pops up in the middle of the movie that Maui first meets that completely disappears by the end of the second act. It's just an overall forgettable film, and one that I would say watch at your own risk. This reminds me very much of when Disney made Return to Neverland and Jungle Book 2. Both those movies were intended to be direct-to-video sequels, and by all accounts they are, but for some reason they were given a theatrical release. This one makes a little more sense because they've got The Rock, and as much as his popularity is starting to decline, Dwayne Johnson doesn't come with a low price tag. So I can at least see why this movie went to theaters. But I think the story that this movie is trying to tell would have benefited a whole lot more had it been a Disney Plus limited series, because as a movie, this type of story deserved so much better. And there you go, that's my review for Moana 2. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you guys for watching this video. Thank you for being subscribed to the channel. And I also want to give a special thank you to my YouTube members right over here. If you want to help support the channel even more, you can do so via YouTube memberships for as little as $1.99 a month. Not only do you get early access to all of my videos, including this one, but you get exclusive content, including my top 5 favorite series, and starting next year, the ability to nominate and vote for monthly retro reviews. So I hope you can consider joining as a YouTube member in the future. And until next time, I want to know what you guys think about Moana 2. Whatever your opinions are, let me know in the comments below. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the bell button to get notifications. If you want to find me elsewhere on the internet, you can do so via these social media platforms and my theme park and travel channel right here on YouTube. I'll see you guys in the next video, but until then, have a good day and take care of yourselves.